public services and facilities. And that has a few more questions. We asked about underground utilities, consolidation of the town offices, which we no longer need to ask, and then, actually that's the only two things that we asked, cell towers. I don't know why I wrote that down. Maybe we asked
utility wires.
Yeah, and then we had personal questions that really just related to the respondent profile. Which is helpful if you're trying to, super analyze a question and you want to know how it works around the island, or whether how old they are, or does this person feel this, and it helps us with quite a few things as well as just the overall respondent profile. So and then we had I don't know how that got glommed on the personal questions, but do you have a sprinkler system in your house? Did you respond to the last survey, and have your views changed?
Is the sprinkler in the house? Or was it?
You have an automatic
sprinkler system. It was an automatic sprinkler system. I think that probably came up after the fact. We just added it in.
Are you talking a lawn sprinkler?
Lawn sprinkler. It was a lawn sprinkler, yeah.
Sorry, we had that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Manning subdivision.
I know, I just don't know why we didn't add it into the water resources questions.
If which of the following regarding water supply and wastewater disposal applies to your house or property, do you have an automatic lawn sprinkler system?
Yeah. So those were the questions. So if we could just talk about the public services and facilities questions. Now that's,
we certainly asked about burying the wires.
let me just get my comprehensive plan and tell you what other sections are in there, because there's a lot more than just the questions that we asked, and then they kind of generate some thoughts.
Yeah.
I have one question that I'd like to ask that's referenced but it's not asked, which is about volunteerism in government and whether Jamestowners would like their government to be run mostly by volunteers rather than paid staff, as in the town council, planning commission. And the statement in the last comprehensive plan was that Jamestowners really wanted their government to be run as much as possible by volunteers. And I would like to kind of make sure, see if that's still the same case. Can we ask a question?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can we ask a question about the town government, as in the town council, the planning commission, the zoning commission board? A question for each one. How do you think this works? What would you do to change it?
Do you think most people would be able to answer that?
If you didn't have to come before them, you
Wouldn't have any
know they
idea.
exist. A lot of people don't know they exist.
So then you just put don't know or don't care. But I just wonder if there is some, it's sort of going along with, do you want all commercial development to be reviewed by the planning commission, which was one of the questions, that was one of the statements, and sort of one of the things that feels like it needs updating.
Can I ask a question? Are you suggesting that they be elected officials as opposed to appointed by the town council?
I'm asking, no, I'm not saying that it should be one way or the other. What I'm trying to find out is how Jamestowners feel about the statement that was in the last comprehensive plan, and is it still true that Jamestowners want the town government to be largely run by volunteers?
I don't think that's the way the question was worded. You have
It wasn't worded.
Yeah, no, it wasn't
in
worded
here,
like that.
but it's been referenced.
Yeah.
It's actually.
I think there was a very large statement
Yeah.
thanking the volunteers and saying that it's largely run by volunteers. We have lots of volunteerism and it's wonderful, and it adds to our community character. I believe it's in the future land use section. It's in the future land use section at the very beginning. But in terms of public services and facilities that we're looking at, here's kind of the subsections of that element. We have a fiscal analysis. We talk about town government. Community services and facilities being administrative and departmental services, town hall, planning, animal control, harbor, educational services and facilities, library, public works, trash removal, highway department, public water supply and treatment, wastewater treatment, municipal golf course, senior services, public safety, and social services. So it encompasses quite a lot. Yeah.
So water rates continue to be a major issue.
Would it be appropriate in this survey, and I'm not sure it would be, but to ask like a question, do we, how comfortable with the high school situation? You know, do we want high school?
That's a good question, I think, since they're having a meeting tomorrow night, yeah.
I mean, would that be an appropriate question for the comprehensive plan survey? I'm not sure it's a comprehensive question, but.
Well, it's certainly a service question, and I don't know if it's such a bad question. Let me write it down, and then we'll think about it.
If we didn't use it, the school committee might like to know the answer
Right.
to it.
And along with water rates, you might ask, providing sewage for the whole island, sewage disposal, it's high in the sky.
Provide what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sewage.
Public service, yeah.
For the whole island?
I mean, I might, well, yeah.
I wouldn't say island-wide, I would say areas of density, high density. Because obviously, if you get up into the 2-acre lots and so forth, that's not something you ever need.
What about the active land acquisition program? How do people feel about that? Do they want that to continue? How would they?
Different element. I think we talked about that under natural resources, I believe, yeah.
Oh, it's under public water supply treatment here, okay.
If you talk about trash, do you want to talk about recycling?
We could, yeah. So not quite recycling, but trash, yeah.
Do we want to ask a regular question?
Isn't that underway already?
No?
I'm trying to think, did we already talk? We talked about that in economic development? or-
But I thought we have 2 planned over.
We talked about one of those, right?
Yeah, at the last.
Is it
I'm not sure we talked about personal wind generators. I mean, obviously those are being advertised in the paper now. but
Yeah, they are.
What else is to get on call for?
Already have all the opinions we need.
Step away from the question.
Yes, no, scratch, second.
Did we already talk about public access and right away?
I think you mentioned
We
something.
did, yes, we did.
And we explored the difference between having public right of ways and providing access and not having parking for public access. We talked about that.
Yeah, I think we did discuss it. I know that we put right away, and there were several other subcategories, but I'll keep it in mind. I mean, I'll keep it in here. Yeah. And we'll look at it, we'll look at it further. What we're gonna do, next time we talk about this is refine these issues. We're gonna look at it, and you're gonna be given, say, 4 dots or 4 check marks, or, and you're gonna pick your top 4 questions for each element. And then we're gonna just kind of make sure that you want to get rid of what you want to get rid of, and you want to keep what you want to keep. And then we're going to kind of further refine what the questions are going to ask. You're not going to come up with the exact question, but just to make sure that we have an idea so we can work on the questions themselves and get a draft to you.
Do you want to get a wider